from BD underscore. We're making official tools. How do you decide how much to do in C# and how much to do in ProtoFlux? For example, the Gaussian tool has the logic to create and adjust bounding boxes on C#, which means you can make changes on how it's handled within the Resonite very easily. It's kind of depends like what is easier right now, like what's like, the least amount of effort. Eventually our goal is like, so you can essentially have all the APIs and things that the tools do work with a very general system. And they can pretty much build all of the functionality within ProtoFlux and it can kind of adjust it. But right now for some things it would just take too much time, so it's like faster to just implement sort of the skeleton of it in C# and then like, make it neat like in ProtoFlux. That way I only need to worry about the core functionality of it. And then like, have like the art team like handle like, sort of some of the polish, adding like a lot of kind of cool things. That way, like for example, with the Gaussian split tool, one of the things it does, like, it has like a lot of dynamic behavior where it needs to get like, objects like, that are overlap, like if you draw something, it needs to figure out are there any Gaussian splits within this. It's using stuff like, physics queries, like which give it a collection. We don't have collection support, which means you can't really do it with ProtoFlux nicely. It's doing like, it's calling like async methods, like which you can kind of do, but like you cannot do it like dynamically on things. So we do need to implement more stuff in ProtoFlux for those things to be easier to implement. Once it kind of happens, I would like us to kind of transition more towards that, like where pretty much most of the tools are actually just built purely in Froox engine with ProtoFlux, eventually WebAssembly, and you just become content, and there's very little stuff on the C# side, or the C# side is mostly just general APIs and frameworks for it. But until that happens, like, it's going to be a mix of both.